Okay, guys. Welcome to this Together We Rise Building Our Nation, where we basically just gonna have some cricket talk coming to you from the USA. And tonight with me we have Mr. Lenroy White, aka Englishman, and a man that hails from Portland, Jamaica, man who knows a lot about cricket, and not just cricket, but sports in general. I love when he even speak on soccer. So, first we just want to
Absolutely.
say big congratulations to the West Indies on their first win of the ICC World Cup tournament. That's mean a lot for the West Indies. So we just want to bring right on Mr. Lenroy White, Englishman. Welcome to the program.
Well, a fantastic good afternoon to all the viewers around the world tuning in. Welcome to the program. Thank you for having me, Sir Ian. Yeah, absolutely. A tremendous game of cricket this morning by West Indies versus Bangladesh. It was very exciting, nail-biting finish. That's a sort of cricket game that keeps fan on the edge of the seat. So just to get that out there.
Yes, English. So we're gonna start. We know there have been a lot of negative going around with West Indies, the current team. In terms of we know West Indies, we always used to winning, but recent we have come where we have settled for a game here and there. But for this tournament, we know we really don't want to go down the negative part. But could you just give us a quick analysis of what is happening there?
Well, absolutely. We've known throughout the years that West Indies is one of the most dominant team in T20 cricket. It doesn't matter if it's the World Cup, any sort of tournament, the West Indian, are involved. It's going to be explosive sort of cricket. But when we go back to analysing the selecting panel, we don't want to be too negative on here. But when you go back to analysing the selecting panel, I think we had a few players that could have been brought into the team, and a few players that I personally don't think that I deserve an opportunity to be in the World Cup squad. When we speak of such players, we're not going to look at the injury because we know that Fabian Allen is one of the big aspects of West Indies cricket at the minute when it comes down to T20 cricket. Batting, bowling, or fielding is one of the best fielders in the world, as you and I know, throughout the last year or two. But when you look at the selecting panel, it questions me a player like a Darren Andre Fletcher in the West Indies setup. I haven't seen Andre Fletcher perform within the last 3-4 years for the West Indies in any sort of form or um, display, like good cricket and display for the West Indies. So is selected into the West Indies team is one to question. Again, we had Darren Bravo, the younger Bravo brother, in the team. I don't see where he possible fit into the West Indies team. I haven't seen any recent performance over the last 3-4 years from Darren Bravo, and I think it's a little bit biased to have him in the setup. Another player that people have been criticizing a lot is Christopher Gill, as you know, the world boss here.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
Chris Gill have done his part for the West Indies over the last 15, 20 years, and I do believe that he deserves the opportunity to go out in the way that he wants to in terms of this World Cup. So I think his selection in the team, it has quite a few negative comments and whatsoever, what's not. But I could go past that. Lender Simmons again, you know, he hasn't had any recent great tournament in terms of CPL or any form of cricket over the last year or two for the West Indies. So it's a lot of questions to be asked about the selecting panel. Another player, Ram Paul, he came back into the setup, the regional setup. He had a tremendous CPL tournament for his team, but I don't think that one great performance in one tournament should get you a spot in the West Indies team. You ask, do we have better to choose from? I think there's quite a few of other young fast bowlers that could have given an opportunity to represent themselves on the West Indies.
So basically, you're saying that on the part of the selectors, they may this World Cup have gone with the best possible team that we have in the Caribbean.
I think that there's other players that could have been looked into. A lot of people criticize my thoughts of what I'm about to say, but I think Kenneth Lewis has been doing absolutely fantastic over the last 2, 3 years in terms of the CPL and cricket here in America. Even in the Pakistan Premier League, Kenneth Lewis has been very destructive at the top of the innings. And I think a lot of people will not look at Kenneth Lewis as he's match ready to represent the West Indies. But I think he's a great prospect at the top of the innings for any team. He's very explosive. He can play an anchor role as well. But you know, it's a lot. There's a lot.
Definitely, I've watched Kenneth Lewis, and I think he had a lot of cricket really coming in up for this World Cup. Even though you say he's not such of a big name player, he can't come down. But guess what? He is actually in form and doing well. We see him, playing recently, and we see that he is basically on top of his game. So with that, there's question around it. And another thing I would say to Lenroy, with this whole pandemic, I don't think our cricketers actually get to play the amount of games that they would normally play on a given during a given season. And I don't know if that have anything to do with this particular World Cup squad in terms of the selectors also, getting together and selecting the best team from basically seeing what they're doing in the Caribbean.
Well, I do disagree with that on that occasion, Ian. I think we have played somewhat amount of cricket over the last couple of months. It's just that players just need to conduct themselves, and I think one big player at the top of the innings is Chris Gayle, and I think he has lost his confidence in terms of, to how about he go about his innings. He has lost himself in the last year or so, Chris Gayle. So, at the top of the innings, there's a lot of questions. Should Chris Gayle, should it be Simmons, should it be,
Yeah, personally, I think if you have Chris Gayle in your side, we know the type of batsman he is. He's a destructive batsman, and having him and not opening with Chris Gayle, I think that would be a disadvantage to the West Indies if you're going to bat him lower in the order. That is just my thought. And the thing is, with this program, it's our opinion. No one person is correct, but all of us do have our opinion, and here is where we can voice those opinions. So if someone is out there, you have your opinion, just put in a text to the side, and let's see if we address those questions.
Absolutely. Give me 1 second there, Ian.
Yep, guys. So really and truly, that is just my view on this particular World Cup squad. I think we have a group of cricketers who are very talented. If you look around the Caribbean and you look at the team that we have there, it's not a lack of talent, definitely. But, is it that these guys are at their best? Is it that they're in the best form of their life right now? That is questionable. And I say it's questionable because, we may not have seen, them playing the amount of game as, we're Caribbean, and we used to seeing them playing all these different leagues in the Caribbean, and we know, they're match ready. So with that, I say the talent is not really lacking. But right now, we can see the performance.
It's a far way that we have to discipline ourselves as international cricketers. We can't just decide that we're going to play one sort of cricket in terms of calypso cricket. We know calypso cricket, we go out there, we play shots from bar one. But we have to have a couple of players in the setup for the West Indies team who are going to be able to maneuver and build a partnership, get things going, get momentum going. And not just a stroke player who will play his hard shots here and there. But we haven't had the sort of players such as Amal and Samuel in this T20 World Cup team who know is such an elegant and classy player who can be destructive as well. We have seen where Rastan Chase is trying to play that sort of innings, but it's just not, he's just not been able to maneuver the cricket ball that possibly the way he wants to. So I think another player that we could have possibly looked at, if we're going to pick in terms of cricketers and farms, would speak of a Sherwood. He hasn't had the best couple of years, one would say, and he hasn't been performing up to expectation. But I do believe that we need to give him some more time, because I personally think he's one of the better one-day players in the West Indies. And if we could have worked with Shea Hope and mold him to develop a little bit more fundamental in terms of applying himself in T20 cricket, it could have been in that team. I could have seen Shea Hope batting at 3.
Well, definitely. Shea Hope, we know he has talent, so definitely he could have also been included in this squad. Um, with that, Lenroy, I really wanna, know we're there at the World Cup. There's not much we can do, only with players that are injured that we can actually pull people in the side. And we have seen where today basically, we had a win, but we have reserve that now came into the team, and being left out early, but now into the team. What do you think about the reserve that we brought over?
Well, as I mentioned before, the reserve team is not what the reserve squad is not the strongest one you'd expect. If you have a player such as Darren Bravo in a T20 setup, it's not the best if you look at that. I guess the cricketing in the region is poor, and we need to develop that sort of fundamental in terms of getting players. I wouldn't say more exposure, but players need to be more disciplined and get back to the drawing board in terms of fundamental of applying themselves in terms of cricket and shot. We can't just come out and play calypso cricket. And yeah, to say that, I think two other players, one player that was brought in, Jason Holder, I think he should have been there from the get-go. But I think Jason Holder is one of the better all-rounders that we have in the West Indies. And his experience, could have been a different story. Even Carlos Brathwaite, I think could have been included, but again, I'm not the selector, so we have to just work with what we have and expect them.
Lenroy, that's one of the reasons I didn't even call any name, because I was just checking to see if you had the same opinion as others would have had about Jason Holder not being included from the beginning, knowing that he is one of our best young, talented cricketer. And we have seen him, just playing in the side as well as captaining the West Indies team. And we realized that Jason Holder can hold his own. And I think a lot of the other team and their structure and management, they would have been looking to see a Jason Holder in the West Indies team from the get-go.
Absolutely. We just need to get back, as I mentioned, back to the drawing board and put West Indies cricket at front, at interest, and not ourselves. We're playing too much politics when it comes down to West Indies cricket, and it needs to stop. I think some changes need to be at the top for us to be successful. We need that. We need. I don't see the spirit, the fight. We have a captain such as a Darren Sammy, one of my favorite captains that I would say in my era of watching cricket. Very passionate about the game and very inspirational for his team. Very good leader. We need that sort of leadership.
Well, that's it again. It is very important. Leadership going into a big tournament. You have to have a leadership, and you have to have where the team actually come together and function as a whole. And I think that's maybe one of our biggest problem there. The team have not really gelled together. As we know how the West Indies normally gel and rally with each other. I think we're still like scampering to find the right fit and at the wrong time.
Absolutely. This shouldn't be the stage where we're trying to put pieces together. We should be executing the plan that was structured from the beginning. And the last World Cup, I won't keep nagging back about that, but I think the players were a lot more of a unit, a lot more structured. It was a lot more energy from the players, a lot more enthusiasm from the guys, So I think, it's probably a little bit too late now to even be discussing what should have been done or what should have taken place. But, end of the day, we just got to support the boys, and hopefully they can get to 6 points and some miracle they could go to, because we know they could turn on at any given time and give us magnificent performance. That we know that they can, but we just need unity in the team and some more team spirit.
Yes, so I definitely hope after this win today, it would have at least stir up that winning spirit in them, and that joy us feeling of just having a victory under your belt, and they'll continue in that light, because we all want to see them winning, and definitely we want to see them go, and play their best cricket, because we know this is not the best of cricket that we are playing at this particular moment. But the fact that we have a win today, which was a very good win, wasn't a convincing win if you ask me. As I see, even the final over, we see we drop a few catches, we misfield, but we scrape through, as you would say.
Absolutely. If we're gonna have an opportunity to win this tournament or even get through to the semi-final stages, if you look at the like of New Zealand, the way that they have been playing as a team and the unity as a gel, the feeling has been absolutely magnificent. Another team is Pakistan. They look so dangerous in the outfield. This is not the West Indies that I know. We know the West Indies team through here is they're very passionate. They go about this is what they do for a living. So I'm not seeing that sort of energy this year, and it's really sad for us in the Caribbean and in Central America who support the West Indies. It's very sad.
All right, Lenroy, I hear you mentioned there Pakistan, also New Zealand. So for this World Cup, could you tell us your pick, for the top four, and at least who you think is gonna take this one home?
Well, we know that India can be very destructive. We know India is a very good team, but I don't see India getting themselves together this World Cup to even get to the semi-final stage. So my top four, I would go with England, Pakistan, New Zealand, Australia.
You're leaving out the West Indies. We want to hear.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Would this be the first time you're leaving out the West Indies outside of a World Cup winning team?
Well, based on the team that they have, it's very unpredictable, and one would say that based on the performance that we have seen, it doesn't look good. And if I was to bet, I definitely would not put it in the West Indies. I would love for them to go on and win the tournament, but it's a very slim chance at the minute.
Well, the feeling that you're sharing, I know, it's not you alone who is having such a feeling, especially, when we know what the West Indies is basically capable of doing. We remember once upon a time, we were just so much used to winning that when on a given day that we would lose or lost a match by any margin, it's like, it's tears going across the West Indies. But like now, it's a usual, and that is kind of a whole different movement that is happening in the West Indies these days.
Yeah, you're not seeing that sort of energy or that enthusiastic from the players or even management staff. Even Sir Garfield Sobel said it a few days ago. It's something that needs to be looked at. It's something that needs to be adjusted, and something that action needs to be taken drastically and very rapidly so that we can get back West Indies cricket to even half the point of what it used to be back like in the 70s and the 80s. We're not trying to go back to that, but with the fundamental.
Well, I personally should say that, as a cricketer myself, and loving the game of cricket, and as long as I can remember myself, from I start playing the game of cricket, there was just this passion, and it's always about winning. You want to win. It was never about the sidetracks, the money, the fame, or anything. It's like once you go out there, you just want to perform. I think, and now in the West Indies, we know they have been paid to play the game.
Yeah, not to cut you there again, but I just think that there's too many individual stars that just want to be highlighted themselves and not a team in its whole. That's not playing as a team, but playing individual cricket. And if you look in the setup, that's a dynamic. If you're not a person who's into cricket, that's just a dynamic you're gonna see from the outside. You're not seeing them gelling as a team, or I personally don't see it.
Well, definitely, there's so much, to take away from the West Indies' current performance, their current position, and really, it seems like a long way to recovery, because it's been a while now since we've been struggling. You know, it's not just yesterday, it's not just this particular World Cup squad. We have gone on to win the World Cup. And as you have said, you know, I think Marlon Samuels had made a difference right there. You know, the type of energy that he carries when he go in the game is just about the cricket. He forgets about the outside world, what is going on. You know, he just play the cricket instead of talk the cricket. And
absolutely, and we have seen the sort of tracks that we're playing against. We've seen that spinners they have been playing a very significant role. When you speak of spinners, back then we have the likes of Badri, we have the likes of Sin and Narayan. Now in the West Indies team we have Walsh Jr., you know, a young candidate, this is the first debut in the World Cup. So, you know, you expect him to do well, but that's not the case. Is it the fact where Sinan Narayan is not able to play, or he doesn't want to play for the West Indies? So these are the sort of thing when I mention about selecting panel, we need to get the right people in the right position to make decisions that's going to benefit the West Indies cricket and not themselves, not Trinidad itself, not to put Trini in the team, not Barbados itself, not Jamaica itself, but it's West Indies, it's all the island. We speak of the island, we speak of St. Lucia, we speak of Grenada. We need to see players that are capable of giving the opportunity and not, I'm going to pick my friend. Even the youngster, Rutherford, very talented left-hand batsman, had a really tremendous CPL tournament and wasn't even considered. And, you know, it's stuff like these that, you know, you wonder what's going on in the selecting panel. But let's hope we can get it together and make things right.
Definitely, and you know, Narayan is a question that, you know, I think a lot of us, you know, will pose a question: why has he not, you know, been included? Is it that he don't want to play, as you said, or is it that there's other things that is happening behind the scene that we as spectators and followers are not aware of? But, you know, to have such a talented bowler, you know, that is feared by a lot of these batsmen in terms of him, you know, we see if he can bowl a maiden over to a man like Russell, definitely, you know, he's doing something with the ball.
We've seen it in the last World Cup. He was not one, but one of the, I would say, the best bowler we had for the West Indies team. Even in that game against Sri Lanka, he bowled a superb spell, and you know, he got the West Indies right back into it. And a lot of these batsmen, they respect him, and you know, that's the sort of thing, that's the sort of player you want in your team to lead as a bowler. You know, if you should ask me a question, who do I fear in the West Indies current lineup as a bowler? I don't see anyone.
You know, it is surprising. This is the first West Indies team that I don't see with a leader in terms of the bowling. You know, back in the days, we're just gonna talk in our era then. You have like a Walsh and an Ambrose, and you could always look towards these two senior players that they're gonna come out there and stamp their authority. And if there's a young bowler, you know, they're gonna groom them and bring them in, and you see them walking back to the marker with them, talking to them. We haven't been seeing that at all.
Absolutely, and you know, as we keep mentioning, it needs to be looked at. It needs to be looked at urgency. When you speak of the top four, Ian, what's your analysis of the top four this World Cup?
Well, you know, I must tell you personally, I love Pakistan. Pakistan have come out with a energy that I've never seen them with before, and especially after beating India. You know, that's a rivalry for years. You know, India have not lost to Pakistan in a World Cup. And
yeah, they look really well. At the top of the innings, they're very destructive with the likes of Barbara and other players. They look very destructive. And at the tail end, as we saw the display today by Asif, tremendous batting.
Man, you know, they start with Rizwan and all these guys at the top, in the middle, and towards the end, they can take a team apart.
Yeah, they play that match-winning players that can come at the back end of the innings and get an easy fire 50, 40, 60 runs with ease. And they have, you look at it, they have a very well-rounded team, a very team-spirited team, a team that play as one unity. You know, they're gelling well together, and you know, it can't get any better for Pakistan.
Yeah, so that is it is a team that I basically is keeping a close eye on, and especially the fact that they're playing down there. You know, Dubai, they are accustomed to these kind of conditions. You know, they're not outside of their zone. This is their zone. This is their place, and they have
Yeah,
played
the
so many matches
subcontinent
there.
wickets. Absolutely. Subcontinent wickets, we know that India is one of the better teams, but they're just not displaying that sort of cricket at the minute. So Pakistan has taken the opportunity and they're displaying their talent.
And I also, you know, I don't know, I'll never leave out Sri Lanka out of any World Cup for the past couple of years. I just love their style of playing cricket. They go out there, they're fierce players, you know, they go out there, they go to win, and guess what? They're confident all the way through. You know, they could lose 1, 2, 3 wickets. They're still confident that, you know, they'll come through with a good total and they're gonna defend it.
Totally. I personally don't see Sri Lanka with the sort of depth in their team to even get to the semi-final in this tournament. I might be wrong, but that's just my prospect of it.
Yes, you see, I'm just saying I'm not leaving them out. You know,
Gotcha.
it's just one of those teams. England looking good. You know, in the beginning, I must say, I would have thought West Indies would be one of the most feared teams. And the reason why I say this is that West Indies, we have some of the hardest hitters in the cricket. We know if a Gale, a Russell, a Pollard, you know, these guys, if they get going on any day, it doesn't take more than 1 or 2 of them to come good. And we could win, or they could tear apart a team. You know?
Absolutely. Even on Hetmeyer, but Hetmeyer just I refuse to understand what's really going on with Shimron Hetmeyer, such a talented player, but just not being able to execute over the last year or so, or even Nicholas Perron. We all know these players are match winning players. If you look at them playing for Mumbai Indian or whatever team they play for, they display such quality and authority in terms of batting at the wicket. So I don't see the big difference in terms of representing for the West Indies. It's just not coming forth.
All right. If you should ask me about Hetmeyer, I think Hetmeyer it is a big disappointment to many of the West Indies fans. Simple meaning, as a young, talented cricketer, we were all looking to see a Hetmeyer coming through, you know, more likely shaping up like a young Brian Lara in the days, you know, confidence. But as he continue his game, I see where, you know, he has lost confidence. I'm not sure if the fact that he been left out from time to time, pull back, you know, but it seems like he has an inner battle. I don't know. It's just something that is happening. I think it's not really his talent, but he's having a battle somewhere.
I wouldn't just go that far and say confident. It's as an individual, as a sportsman, you want to put that determination, you want to put that dedication, you want to put work into whatever you're doing. And you have to lead from by example for yourself. You know, you can't just come in and give it 50%. As I look at Edmire, he needs to put more into himself as a young talented player. One of the most talented youngsters in the region, but he just hasn't shown that his maturity hasn't developed.
I think continue, Lenroy.
Now I'm just saying his maturity haven't developed as one would expect him to. And as a youngster, you have to drive yourself. You have to push yourself to do better than what you did today. You know, got to motivate yourself. And he just has an attitude, not a fighting attitude. That's it.
I think as followers of the game of cricket and West Indians, I think we believe more in Hetmeyer than Hetmeyer actually believe in himself at this point. You know, and it is sad because, you know, we definitely would want to see him up at the top of the innings there, you know, to basically giving us the runs, you know, because we pick you to bat, so we expect to have some runs coming in, you know. But what we realize, the first half is putting on a lot of pressure on the bottom half of the game, because we are getting into 10, 15, 10 over, 12 over, and there's not much on the board.
Absolutely right on that one there. We're going to be getting our analyst, Sir Roger, on to discuss his views and give us his analysis, what he
Yes.
thinks of the World Cup thus far.
Well, basically, we're looking to see Roger, and but I've just gotten a call, and basically in a form of a text coming in that he may be running a little late, but he was gonna really come on and give us a quick analysis of his thought on this current World Cup and speaking on the West Indies on a whole, and also wanted to touch on our local cricket here, Lenroy, which you are a part of. As a matter of fact, you were one of the leading wicket taker in the 2020, and now we are into the 30 over. You're still one of the top bowlers in the league. Both you and I play for the Palm Beach Hurricanes, so I don't know if you want to take a shoot at basically what you think of the local league here in the US, being played right here in South Florida, and what are our chances?
Absolutely. We've seen that it's a 30 over tournament, and we have 6 teams battling for the right to be called champion of South Florida. Um, just to look at a few of the teams we have, South India, we saw them in the T20 tournament or disruptive. They can be and how they were. They got to the final, the semi-final of the tournament, and they have match winning players, and they play as a unit and as a team, and that's what I like about South India team. They're very passionate about their cricket, and they come out each and every Sunday and perform, up to their expectation and even better at times. So they have a chance to getting into the semi final as well. Um, we have Saint Best as well. The first time I'm playing in a tournament with Saint Best, we know that we have players such as Brian Trooper Gale, one of the best batsman I've seen in cricket here in America. Very talented right hand batsman, very destructive, very small guy, but that shouldn't fool us. He's very talented. And another thing, I think he should have probably be representing Jamaica at this point. Very, very talented player, Brian Chupagale. And so,
Yeah.
they always have a decent team, so they have a chance as well. So it's a very stiff and competitive tournament. Then if you look at Myrtle Grove, the defending champion, they have really good players as well. They have the likes of um, Lesman, the captain, who we know here in South Florida is one of the better captain, one would say, when it comes on to tournaments and league here in South Florida. And we have Damon Rowe, who also just recently finished playing in the minor league. We know how destructive he can be. He got 100 in 2 weeks ago and 97 runs, 90 hard runs in a game prior to that. So we have some very good team here. And if you go back to West Palm Beach, we have Clarence, the captain of our team. We know that how dangerous he can be as well for West Palm Beach. West Palm, if we're going to look at the semi. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, so just to continue where you left off there, Lenroy, really and truly, I must say that you speak highly of Saint Best, and talking about Brian Gale Trooper, I think he's one of the better batsmen I've seen that come through South Florida. The very first time I saw him playing for the Jamaica team in the T20 overnight competition, I told him that he should have gone back to Jamaica to represent Jamaica. He was actually in the Jamaica squad, but due to injuries, he had to take a break. But then I think he came straight to South Florida, and during his rest there, we saw him playing for Jamaica, and I tell you, he make a quick 50, and that was something that caught my eyes, and I always hear about him playing for States, but then when I actually saw him at that game, I went over to him and I said, young man, I think you need to go back to Jamaica and get yourself back in that squad, because he's a very good, talented player, and we have seen a Saint Best team without Brian Trooper Gale is basically a weak St. Elizabeth team right now, because actually last week we played them in the preliminaries there, and we see only Clevan and a salesman really came to the forefront. He made probably 40 plus, but other than that, everybody else struggled around him. And we just want to see again a good 50 from Joseph Palmer, our Palm Beach. He batted about number 4. Just, Roger Tracy would have opened with the youngster Adam. We just want to say, congratulations to Adam, in terms of stepping up to the plate this season from being a genuine spin bowler. We didn't see him with the bat, but now we see this year he's coming forward with the bat. He's looking pretty good at the top of the innings, just need a little, talk to. And we see Raja is doing that with him at the top there. So we also want to shout out to Raja, have confidence in batting at the top there. And our skipper, Salman. And then with Ken and Joseph Palmer in that team, we think we have a very balanced team. We think our chances, is pretty good this season. But then we, as you said, look at Myrtle Grove, very strong team. We still have challengers, looking good. So this season, I think we have some very good teams, and
absolutely. When you mentioned that the Palm Beach team, and you have at the back of the head, you have players such as Adam Stanford, who represent the West Indies. Palm Beach team is not a team to underestimate. Very good team. And then if you go on the other hand, and you look at challengers, you have Rowan Ibanks, who have scored over 500 runs in most of the tournaments play. He's one of the most destructive players, very fearful batsman here in South Florida. Last season, he was the highest run scorer in the tournament. Rowan Ibanks has been really, really tremendous in South Florida in terms of T20 cricket, 30 over cricket. He's a very talented youngster. I just want to give him a shout as well. Very, very talented batsman, Ibanks.
And another thing about Ibanks, as you mentioned, Ibanks, is his leadership ability. He tends to have that capability of motivating his players, getting them to perform at their best. And also, we have to give it up to Anthony Scott, also, who, often open the innings for challengers. Very good batsman there, between him and Rowan Ibanks. They can be destructive. You got to get these players pretty early. So, very good team lineup, So we should be looking good this season in the 30 over,
Absolutely, it should be highly competitive. But if I should make a prediction in terms of the semi-final, you want to go for challengers, absolutely, America Grove as well in that top 4. And then you have West Palm Beach, who should get there with the talents of the team that they have at the back end. But the number 4 position is gonna be possible between St. Best and South India.
All right, Lenroy, with that, I'll give you the final minute to wrap it up until next week. We'll see you guys again, but we just want to say, thanks to all the viewers who come on. We know this was, late, and, but nevertheless, we had a win, the West Indies, and we decided to come on. But we just want you to know that this is a program where, you can be a part of it. You can put your comments in, we basically address each question, and if you just want to share your views, we'll also bring you on. So take the final minute there, Lenroy.
Well, just want to say, as you said earlier, thanks for the viewers that came on and gave us the support. We appreciate that, and we will be rallying around the West Indies, hopefully for a miracle to happen. They could get to the semi-final or even winning the ICC T20 World Cup.
Yes,
my final prediction to win, I go with Pakistan or England.
All right, I think you have picked a very good team there at the top there. So Pakistan looking pretty good. England, I know what they're capable of. New Zealand, we know, and I still gonna bet on the West Indies to win at least another game. So before we go, we're gonna think Roger Tracy is coming on here. We're probably just gonna bring him on for a quick minute. So welcome, Roger Tracy. So Roger, we keep you up to date. We're just wrapping up. So we just want to have you to give your final views on this current West Indies team. Share your views. We have already wrapped up in terms of the local cricket, but you still have about 5 minutes to take it.
How you doing, guys? Well, first of all, I want to offer my sincere apologies for being extremely late to the show.
We understand how it goes here, man.
Right, right. So as far as West Indies are concerned, we're West Indians, right? And we're gonna ride and die with the team to the very end. Today was a tough win. We're obviously an out of form team. So tough wins are good, right? A win is a win. So that's our first 2 points. Hopefully, we can, let's say, scrape through to the final phase. And if we get into the knockout phase, then anything is possible. But, we got to take it one game at a time. We had one good win today. Hopefully, we can go from strength to strength and we can see the team start improving throughout the latter phases of this World Cup. And, hey, a couple of wins, results going our way within the group of Australia and those teams, you never know.
Well, Roger, I'm going to put you on the spot. English have already picked his top four. What would you say is your pick for the top four?
All right. So from our group, obviously, my heart is with the West Indies. But if I were to be really honest, I don't think we're going to make it. So I believe it's going to be England and Australia from this group, and Pakistan and India from the second group.
All right, sir. We'll see how good you are in terms of making your prediction. We know you're very good in terms of an analyst and analyzing the game. So let's see. And do you think West Indies is gonna win another game?
Yes, absolutely. For sure, for sure.
All right, definitely.
I think we should. I think we should beat Australia. I think we'll have some issues with Sri Lanka. We tend to have a lot of issues with the teams with a lot of spin, and they have Hasaranga, who we've had a lot of issues with. So I believe Australia will beat, but I think Sri Lanka is going to be tough.
A question I should have asked Lenroy is, what do you think of our batting when it comes to spinners? Do you think we're kind of a little bit lacking in terms of the way we use our feet in terms of the spinners? And knowing this tournament look like it's favoring the spinners already.
Absolutely. I think we're very lacking when it comes to playing spin. I believe we do have a couple of players within our team that play well. Nicholas Puran is probably our best player of spin. Roston Chase has a really good record in the subcontinent, but he's also a good player of spin. Chris Gale, Evan Lewis, those guys are not very nimble on their feet. They're not very good at playing spin, but they do play positive and they can certainly hit spinners. The rest of the guys, Andre Russell, Pollard, even Meyer, these guys are not very adept at playing spin bowling.
All right. Next question we're going to put on you, Raja. We're throwing them all at you at once. Coming in today, we have Jason Holder. It's our first win, but we have seen at the end of the game, basically close to the end, we see our second captain in, Puran, and we see Jason Holder coming in. Did you believe that Jason Holder should be involved from the very get-go? Just tell us, what do you think about the captaincy and also Jason Holder?
Well, what's ironic is every time Nicholas Puran captains, we win. And Pollard has been losing. So maybe something to look into. As far as Holder is concerned, I do believe that, what the selectors did was right or previous wrong. Holder should have been in the initial squad. I would not have replaced Obin McCoy with Holder. I would have gone with Cottrell just because we certainly need someone that can take new ball wickets up front and also just like have that left arm variation. But for me, Holder would have been selected over Rampal. I would not have gone with Ravi in the first instance. But having said that, Holder came in today, and his performances was exemplary. He had a huge impact on the game today, and contributed heavily to that win.
Absolutely, totally agree with you. Totally agree with Roger on that occasion in terms of Jason Holder over Abraham Paul. As I mentioned earlier, Abraham Paul had just one great tournament in the CPL. I didn't thought that was enough to get him back into the West Indies team. He hasn't been around since 2015. Not to say that he wasn't playing championship cricket in the UK, but didn't thought that sit well. That didn't sit well with me. I would have even gone with a Carlos Brathwaite over a Raveram Park.
Well, then you'll add a little more depth to our batting because both of those players, Brathwaite and Jason Holder, both can bowl well and bat well. So and they're great fielders.
I don't see the thing to bring back Raveram Park. I don't see him as a strike bowler in the West Indies team. I've never seen him as a strike bowler. I definitely haven't seen him being a strike bowler in the World Cup thus far.
Yeah, so I think the thing about Ravi, you're right, Lenroy, he's certainly not a strike bowler. But my biggest concern, and Ravi has bowled pretty well, he's bowled okay, but I just think he doesn't give us anything that we could not have got from a Holder, gotten from Carlos Brathwaite. He's essentially in that same mold, but the disadvantage you get with a Rampal is he's a poor fielder, right? He's slow in the field. We already have Chris Gale. We already have a few guys that you sort of have to look after. So for me, it's a huge component when you're looking at 2 to 3 guys that you have to hide in your field. I think that puts us behind the 8 ball. So for me, Ravi Rampal certainly for his fielding would not get in my team.
Absolutely, you made a very good point, you and Ian earlier in terms of Nicholas Parami, the captain. We all know that Kieran Pollard is a very aggressive captain. But I haven't seen that display from him this World Cup. I don't know what the mindset is or I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, I do think that Nicholas Perron is doing a terrific job thus far, captain in the West Indies team. So I think they possibly could or should remain that way.
Yes, definitely. If we're looking for the future and looking to grow our cricket, I'll say give the captaincy to a youngster which Poran, been displaying great cricket. We know he can bat, he's a good keeper, and he seems to basically get along with all the players. They have this connection that I really believe is always important in the game of cricket. So with that, I say Poran over
Yes,
take
Roger,
away,
another question. Roger, are you happy with the way that Roston Chase has been playing that so to speak Marlon Samuel's role? Are you satisfied with it with his batting so far in this World Cup?
I'm not. I want Roston Chase to be Roston Chase. I want him to play in the same mold and operate the same way he played in the CPL. He was free. He was playing a sort of an aggressive brand of cricket. He was playing his shots that were within his zone, and he was rotating the strike pretty much, at every turn. I get a feeling seeing Roston Chase in this tournament that someone told that he needs to be the anchor. He needs to play the Marlon Samuels role. The guys need to bat around him. I don't want that from Roston Chase. I think if Roston Chase comes out and just bats normally, he will do well, and he will bat 12, 15 overs easily. But batting for facing 40 balls.
No, you go ahead, Roger. You go ahead. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Facing 46 balls, which is almost half your innings, and making 39 runs, I don't believe that's good enough.
Then again, they lose 2 quick wickets very early, and then Roston Chase the wicket. But I feel like once you get over 15, 20 deliveries, it should give you some amount of confidence to play proper cricket shot and execute your strokes. And he's just playing a little bit too cautious in terms of number 4, number 5 role. He needs to be more flamboyant, more flowing in his stroke playing, and that could seem being a more successful player as well.
I agree.
Roger, quick one. If you should analyze and assess Hetmeyer, could you just give us your views on Hetmeyer and what he brings to the team and what he's doing currently?
Hetmeyer is obviously one of our bright talents. He's one of the top batsmen in the region. However, his performances and work ethic of late has been brought into question. I certainly think Hetmeyer is to blame for a lot of his problems. Obviously, it's affected his consistency. But I also think the think tank and management of the West Indies has not necessarily given Hetmeyer the best opportunity to put him into positions to be successful. He's been shunted up and down the order. He doesn't have sort of a permanent role in the team, whether it's a top order role, whether it's a finishing role. Today he bats at 7, tomorrow he bats at 4. So I think that also affects him. But Hetmeyer is not blameless in this equation. I think he needs to work harder. I think he has to show more commitment. And so far, as a huge fan of Shimron, I've been disappointed.
Roger that.
Thanks for sharing there, Roger. Really, it's a deep analysis of him. And as Lenroy and I was saying earlier, we think the West Indies on a whole is still struggling to put together the best team in terms of they're doing it now in the World Cup. They're trying to put their best players together. And we see that's a challenge. And that would really reflect in what you're saying, that he's batting at the top, he's down the order. We're not sure what role each player is playing.
Right.
Yeah, no one has a sure indication in terms of what the game plan is. Probably there's a game plan in the dressing room, but when it comes out to on the field, the work ethic, I'm not seeing it being executed by these players, and it needs to be worked on.
So with that, guys, we just wanna say thank you guys for viewing. Thank you guys for participating, sharing, and Roger Tracy, we want to thank you for coming on, even though you say you were a little late. But we really appreciate your views, and what you have shared here tonight. Definitely, the West Indies on a whole, we all know that they can do better. I really hate the negativity that surrounds the cricket, really. Especially we see where Gale, is a whole controversy going on there between Ambrose, Gale, and senior players, But I believe that if we are really die-hearted West Indians, we will support the team that is put forth and just pray that they play to the best of their ability. Whatever had gone wrong, I don't think it's the right time to fix it, and probably that is the reason why you, Lenroy, have not picked West Indies to win this tournament, because of what is happening in there. We still seem like we play in Dandy Shandy or something.
So just one thing there, Ian. Obviously, I joined the program late. So myself and Lenroy did not pick the West Indies. Does that mean you're picking West Indies to win?
I'm picking them to win at least one more game. Let's see.
Okay.
Boy, it's hard to see a West Indies team, and West Indians are really struggling to say, guess what? I'm with the West Indies this season. It is tough. We never have that. I don't think over the many years we've been playing cricket that you as a West Indian will be actually almost ruling out your team. Before, that teams that we are playing against would be picking West Indies to win. That's the type of team that we are used to having. But now, when as West Indian, we are still struggling. We don't even know, if you really want to give them a full support, which I ask everyone to do that.
We don't see the chemistry as the past couple of years that 2012, 2016, the chemistry that it was very beautiful. We don't see that this year.
This is it's a very good team, Ian. It's a very good team, for 2012. Yeah, this would have been a very good team.
I gotta take some commitments. I'm around real quick.
Yeah, really and truly, I'm not criticizing the players that they have bring to the World Cup. Put it that way. I know, Roger, all of them are talented, and we all know they're talented in their own area. But I think they've been pressured to perform at a time when, as you said, the chemistry have not come together, and it is hard for you to perform when, as you say, you don't know the role that you're playing. You don't even know if you're gonna be in the team. I think these players, most of them, other than the keeper and a few, you're not even sure that you're gonna be in the final 11.
I don't think that's an excuse, though, and I don't even believe that's true, because this team, we've played the most T20 internationals leading up to this World Cup, right? We had 3 5-game series against Sri Lanka, Australia, and a series against Pakistan, obviously which was affected by rain. But I think the West Indies, they'd be hard pressed to say they did not have a good build up or preparation leading to this World Cup. I think the coaching staff may not have put everything together in the right way. They may not have strategized in the right way. But we did have 15 games across 3 series leading up to this World Cup. And also, our players all participating in the CPL, and then a number of our players were in the IPL just before this World Cup in the UAE and in Sharjah. So I don't believe that should be an excuse. I believe our coaching setup needs to be looked at. I don't believe Phil Simmons is doing a good job. And I think somewhere along the lines of planning has been woeful. And I think for me, these guys, it's been the same squad as well. The same squad that has gone to the World Cup. It's been the same squad for the entire year. They haven't brought in anyone new. I mean, the only new player that has been brought into the squad, 2 new players, Ravi Rampal and Roston Chase. Ravi replaced Fidel Edwards, and Chase replaced, I don't know, maybe it was Darren Bravo or somebody else. So I don't think that's an excuse. I think our coach and management team really needs to be looked at.
Well, Roger, if you're brave enough to say that the coach is not doing a good job, I want to ask you if you're brave enough to give us your final 11.
For the next game?
Yes, sir.
So for the next game, I would go with the same team that played this game. I would have Chris Gale at the top of the order with Evan Lewis. But I'm going to make a switch as far as the batting order is concerned. I want Nicholas Pooran at number 3. I don't want him to come in at 7 to repair the damage. I want him to get us ahead in the game. So I need Pooran at 3, Chase at 4, Nair at 5, which is where he should stay. Captain Polly at 6. Number 7 will be Jason Holder, Andre Russell, obviously depending on the situation of the game. And again, number 8 will be Jason Holder / Andre Russell. And then obviously 9, 10, and 11 will be Dwayne Bravo, Akil, Hussein, and also I believe the last guy is Ravi Rampal. Now, I'll make one slight change. For Sri Lanka, I want Akil Hussein, just because I believe they're very good players of leg spin. But against Australia, we have had a lot of issues playing leg spin in the past. Aidan Walsh Jr. had a brilliant series against Australia earlier this year. So I would definitely play him against Australia and leave out Akil. Against Sri Lanka, I would go for the orthodox spinner.
Just want to say thank you, Roger. Thank you for your time coming in here and analyzing, just giving us a quick look at the West Indies. And, as you say, we just want the West Indies to continue to win from here on. In a rally, we're going to rally around the West Indies still. So,
listen, we're rallying. We're hoping for the best. And I would love nothing more than the West Indies to somehow sneak into the final phase. So let's give the team our support and see what happens.
Definitely. I join hands with you with that. Just give the team our support, whatever may, let's try and deal with it after this World Cup. But we definitely know there's got to be a lot of restructuring after the World Cup, because we all know, we are not at the place that we used to be, or, especially with the talent we have. Because I said, we're not lacking in talent. The talent is there, but the performance is not showing, So thank you, Roger, and thank you, Mr. Lenroy, Englishman. Until next week, guys. See you all.
All right. Thanks for having me.